the shop is clean.
The shop is clean.
And that means we can get back to making another mess. So in natural fashion, I went and spent the rent on a brand new drive shaft yoke for our 65 Galaxie and a fresh new water pump because we were leaking coolant faster than we could pour it in. So in this video, I'm gonna get those installed and we're gonna finally find out if this thing actually moves under its own power. Or if everything we've done up to this point has just been a really big waste of time.
Probably.
Let's go. All right, guys, so I'm gonna start with doing the drive shaft first because obviously that's easier than doing a water pump. But admittedly, I've actually never had to change a yoke on these things before because normally I have the driveline shop do it for me. Most of the time when I do something like this, I'm getting a drive shaft either lengthened or shortened and the driveline shop takes care of all of it and they just hand it back to me in one package exactly the way I need it. So as my first time, I was talking to the driveline guy and he told me that the very first step is to take our brand new yoke and make sure that it actually fits in the transmission. Now the C4 recommends an 8-inch yoke, so yeah, that's definitely 8 inches. We're just gonna go ahead and give this a really quick check. Slides in no problem, all right. And that seems to work for me. So you're supposed to go ahead and measure to make sure that changing the yoke doesn't change your drive shaft length. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna assume everything is okay, get the yoke changed, and I imagine it'll go smoothly.
I also like to live dangerously.
All right, our new yoke is installed nicely, and now we just gotta bolt the drive shaft back in, and we can move on to the water pump. Theoretically, this part should go fairly smoothly. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's not good. Did we really add that much space? Okay, we have about a 4-inch difference between the length of our drive shaft now not lining up to the rear end. I thought that transmission was the same. Well, this is the drive shaft off an old GM. I wonder if I can make it work. Okay, I'm gonna try something a little bit crazy in that I'm gonna try and fit a drive shaft from a completely different make of car. I think it's from a old Delta 88, early 70s or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, into my Ford Galaxie because it is a little bit shorter than my existing drive shaft, purely because I don't wanna have to send my old drive shaft in to get shortened, which apparently is gonna take about 2 weeks right now because the driveline shop is really backed up, hence why I'm changing yokes myself. But I'm not certain if it's got the right width for the U-joints, so I'm gonna dismantle everything and see if I can get lucky, and we're just kind of guessing at this point. Okay, so you guys have already seen me do this once before and it's a little bit boring. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera, but this is the new drive shaft with the old yoke and I'm gonna have the new one swapped out in just a moment here. Okay, and new one installed, so let's go see if it'll fit. All right, the yoke is in. Moment of truth. Oh, no way. No way. Guys, I think I'm a genius. No way. That's gonna work perfectly. No. Seriously? That's crazy. Look at this, we've got our 1/4 inch sticking out of the tail shaft here, and then over here, we're fitting perfectly. So I'm just gonna get our U-bolt buckled up, and this drive shaft will be installed. Stable. All right, guys, so now that our drive shaft is successfully installed, we can finally move on to the water pump. So you know what that means. Going down. Okay, theoretically, this actually shouldn't be that bad. We just have to remove the alternator and its brackets, power steering pump and its brackets, couple of coolant lines, and then I think it's only like 6 bolts and we'll just swap it right out. It should be done in 10 minutes. This is another one of those cases where I could have just been done if I did this in the first place. That's all right, lesson not learned. new water pump is completely installed, so now I'm gonna fill it with coolant and see if we're still puking fluid all over the floor and if that was a complete waste of our time. Okay, I'm not hearing any leaks anywhere, which is a good sign. Okay guys, I've waited a while now, I've put it up in the air and I've checked everywhere, and so far it doesn't look like I am leaking anywhere. So what I think I'm gonna do is wait until daylight so I can get some cameras set up and actually see something, drop it to the ground, fill the transmission full of fluid, and see if we can get this thing to move under its own power. I'll see you in the morning. Okay guys, it is the next day and I am so excited to see if this thing is finally gonna move under its own power. I've already got it topped up with fluids. As you can see, I've got my bay door open. I am ready to see if this is gonna move. I have double checked everything. I even put brake fluid in it for the first time in a year. So let's get it fired up and see if we're gonna move. One thing that I am aware of before I fired this into gear is that my shift linkage is a little bit off, and I'm not sure if it actually recognizes park or my other gears in the proper sequence, but we're gonna find out. Okay, so do you remember when I said I put brake fluid in it? Apparently not enough, because that thing rocketed out way faster than I wanted it to. Apparently the transmission works, brakes, not so much. All right, I'm gonna make sure that our coolant is completely topped up. Now that it's run for a moment, we wanna let the system bleed a little bit. We'll top up the brake fluid one more time, and then I think I might take it for a little cruise. I know I have a leak in my master cylinder. Okay guys, I'll be honest, I really don't like how much it smokes. I definitely don't like the way it sounds. It needs a tune-up bad. So I'm gonna take it for a short cruise down the block and blow the cobwebs out a little bit. But for the moment, I'm gonna call this one a win. Absolutely everything went wrong with that engine swap. We ended up having to put a bunch of stuff on that we didn't plan to. We had to put a different transmission in. We had to put a different drive shaft in. We had to swap everything out. But at the end of the day, it is running and it's moving under its own power. At least backwards. I guess we'll find out if it goes forwards in a minute. I'll see you guys later. And again, if you like car content and hot rod culture, subscribe to my channel, drop a like on the video, comment what you think, and share it to somebody else who might like this content. If you don't like it, I'm not for everybody, share it to somebody who might.